Welcome everyone, I'm Kristen with Parker and Bow. It's just me and my bow, and this is a continuation of my introductory video. And so I just wanted to show you what progress was made after the group class that I took. And so I went back to the range, to the local archery shop that I bought the bow at. And right off the bat, you can see I'm a little bit more stable. So I'm still getting used to the bow. And I'm shooting with about 15 arrows each round. So I'm still trying to figure things out. This was the day before the private coaching session that I had with a level 4 instructor the following day. So this is just a little bit of progress I made since the group class. I wanted to show you this because I'm not as wobbly, and you can see I'm still trying to figure out form, but I'm a little bit more confident in my shooting after having that familiarization through the group beginner class. I highly recommend that you seek coaching in your very beginning stages. Get used to it, and then whenever you feel that you're either picking up new bad habits or you can't quite correct something, then go on to a one-on-one coach again and see if you can't work out some more of those kinks, practice some more, and then just keep going back to a coach to help fine-tune some of the things that you may be doing so that you can improve your shooting. This guy's a brand new guy too. I have about a week on him, and he really didn't know what the rules were of the range. This video will show you the rules too. We'll go over that briefly. They're pretty standard from what I've noticed around my local archery ranges. He should not have walked out while I was firing. So you would need to wait until the last archer is finished shooting. They will call pull. And then that means that everybody needs to get off the firing line, and then it's able to go down range to retrieve the arrows. And then the last archer finished retrieving their arrows will call clear. And then archers can step up to the firing line again and begin shooting. You never want to step out onto the range when archers are shooting arrows. There's a little bit of overthinking happening and some distraction too. I was worried about the guy shooting down the range from me, and I was really focused on trying to follow the tips that I got from the group class the day before. I'm still shooting with a glove. I still have the sleeved arm guard on. So far at this point, nobody has really corrected me about my release. There's a little bit more follow through. I'm not as unstable with holding the bow on the bow hand. I'm a right-handed shooter, so I hold the bow in my left hand and I draw the string with my right. I'm also right-eye dominant, so I don't have any cross-dominant issues going on. I'm just unstable. These muscles are not used to being worked. So this is another video that I did on the same day. Different angle, and just watching what I'm doing. These are form videos. Ranges are pretty lenient with you recording yourself shooting. I'm struggling here a little bit because the point to which the arrow snaps onto the string is called the nock. And the feathers, or the fletchings, there are two different sides to this. The fletchings, there's two feathers that are called the hen feathers, and then there's a one odd color feather called the cock feather. And the cock feather is supposed to face away from and perpendicular to the riser, so that allows the two hen feathers to easily pass by the riser. So if that nock is twisted in any way, it doesn't allow that cock feather to point in the direction it needs to point, and so the hen feathers will make contact with the riser. So I was having a problem with that one arrow, and I could not get the nock to turn so that I could get the cock feather in the right position. So I just laid it down on the ground and continued shooting while I was checking my arrows. It's best to check your arrows before you shoot and after every round. Your nocks can get twisted, your fletchings can come off, and your tips can become loose. Sometimes you can even have structural issues to the shafts of the arrow too, so you want to check that after every round, and then before and after you begin shooting for the day. You also want to inspect the bow as well. So there's a little bit more stability and a little bit more follow through, but still not enough. Again, I'm shooting fast. I tend to be a fast shooter, but I'm also trying to get the feel of the bow and get the feel of the way my body is working with the bow. So, and I notice that continuous repetition kind of gets me more in tune and in sync with the bow. So that's why I tend to shoot a little fast, and I don't take too much time shooting and aiming. Again, I'm just pointing down range, knowing that I will hit the target or the target bail that the target is mounted on. So there is some form of aiming, but not much concentration is going on to it, so that I can just focus on form and focus on the feeling of everything. So now I was the last shooter. I called pull. We went to pull our arrows from the target bales. I know many will cut these sort of things out, but I wanted to show you what the process is at an indoor range if you're unfamiliar. Or if you're familiar, then you get to see what other indoor ranges do in other areas. Alright, we're doing a slow motion replay of this video. I've cut out the beginning part of it just to show you what my shots look like in slow motion as compared to the introduction video. And that this is about 10 days or so after the last video. Slow-mo. You see that there's a little bit more stability in the bow. It's not wavering as much. I have a little bit more control of it. And you see the front and back movement of the bow more so because I'm not gripping the riser so hard. So I'm really letting that tension happen when I'm pushing the bow with my bow hand and I'm pulling back on the string with my release hand. So I started lightening up my grip, and my shots became a little bit more accurate to center target. I'm still twisting, and my release is still not good, and there's not much follow through. Though there's a little bit more follow through only because I have a little bit more familiarity and slightly more control over the bow than I had the first week I bought it. This is week 2. Again, you want to bring the bow up to where your bow arm is parallel to the floor before you begin drawing the bow. I did not follow through. My stance is a little too wide. You want to be squared off with your shoulders. There are 2 different types of stances. There's a closed stance and an open stance. I prefer a slightly modified version of the closed stance. And I'll let y'all know what that is and what it looks like and why I prefer the closed stance over the open stance in another video. There's a lot more control over that bow than I've had, and then that's what my target has looked like. So there's a little bit more consistency. I like to say I'm inconsistently consistent at this point. The goal is to be consistently consistent, but I'm starting to have more groups, and I'm closer to center target. And there's my arm. So there's some healing from the week before, but now there's a new spot forming. And then I am hungry for some protein, so be sure to eat well, especially when you're starting archery. So anyway, thank you very much. And always remember to practice, 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 bring out the best archer in you.